When my cousin called me last week, sounding half exasperated and half excited, I knew he was on the fence about a generator. He's the type of guy who loves taking the kids on weekend camping trips, but when a sudden storm knocked out power at the cabin, he started worrying whether the next purchase would be another disappointment or finally the reliable backup he needed. I could hear the hesitation in his voice. What if I spend $100 and it can't even run my mini fridge or charge the phone chargers? What if it's loud enough to scare the wildlife away? I told him, let's walk through what you actually need, and see if a unit like the FIRMAN W03381 makes sense for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest fear most people have with portable generators is ending up with a noisy, fuel-guzzling beast that's more of a hassle than a help. The FIRMAN W03381 tries to solve that by advertising a quiet, clean sine wave output. In plain language, that means the engine runs at a lower decibel level than many conventional generators, and the electricity it produces mimics the smooth, stable power you get from the grid. For anyone who's ever tried to watch a movie on a laptop while a generator roars in the background, that difference can feel like night and day. If you're setting up a campsite, a tailgate, or a home emergency station and you want to keep the conversation, music, or a TV on without the constant hum, this design choice matters. The next practical concern is fuel efficiency. A lot of generators brag about long run time, but the reality is often a trade-off between power and how quickly you burn through gasoline. The FIRMAN's inverter technology is specifically tuned to adjust engine speed to the load it's supporting, so it only uses as much fuel as necessary. In real-world terms, if you're just powering a couple of LED lights and a small fridge, the unit will throttle down, extending the tank life. I've heard campers talk about getting 1,012 hours on a single 4-gallon tank in similar scenarios, which translates to fewer trips to the pump and less hassle on a weekend where you're already juggling tents and firewood. Compactness is another claim that often feels vague until you try to actually store the thing. The W03381 measures just under 30 inches long, about the size of a large cooler, and the handle is molded into the frame. When you fold the wheels up and slide it into the trunk of an SUV, it barely takes up any extra space. That's a real win if you live in an apartment or have a small garage and you need to stash the generator somewhere you can still access it quickly when an outage hits. Now, let's talk about the control panel. Most cheap generators give you a simple on-off switch and a single voltage gauge, leaving you guessing whether you're pushing the unit beyond its limits. FIRMAN's panel includes a digital display that shows running watts, fuel level, and a built-in circuit breaker for each outlet. The practical upshot? If you plug in a power-hungry air conditioner and the unit starts to overload, the breaker trips before anything blows, and the display tells you exactly how many watts you're pulling. That level of transparency is useful for anyone who isn't a certified electrician but still wants to avoid frying a laptop or a TV. So, who should consider buying this generator? If you're an RV owner who needs a reliable source for kitchen appliances, a portable AC, and a few USB chargers, the W03381 hits the sweet spot. Its 3650-watt surge rating is enough to start most small air conditioners, while the 3300-watt continuous output can keep a fridge, a microwave, and a couple of lights running without a hitch. Campers who value low noise will appreciate the quiet clean power claim, especially in national parks where noise restrictions can be strict. Homeowners who live in areas prone to thunderstorms or rolling blackouts will find the compact size convenient for storing in a basement or utility closet, yet powerful enough to keep essential devices alive for a few hours while the grid comes back online. On the flip side, there are scenarios where this unit isn't the best fit. If you're looking to power a large workshop with multiple Hydra tools, think table saws, air compressors, and welders, this generator's 3300-watt continuous rating will likely be insufficient. You'd be constantly tripping breakers or throttling down your tools, which defeats the purpose of a backup power source. Likewise, if you're primarily after a generator for outdoor concerts or events where you need to run a sound system and lighting for an entire stage, you'll probably need something with a higher surge capacity and more outlet variety than the FIRMAN offers. When it comes to practical strengths, the combination of quiet operation, fuel-smart inverter technology, and an informative control panel really stands out. I've talked to a few people who tried the unit on a recent hurricane-forced evacuation. They reported that the generator started